everybody, I'm FG and this is Autumn's Journey. Welcome back to chapter 2, which is also incidentally called Welcome Back. The title screen flashed by super duper fast, but here we are. That's the start of chapter 2. I trekked back through the forest, careful to avoid any more wild animals. When I reached the spot where I'd previously set up camp, I decided to take a quick break to eat. I unwrapped my bread and cheese, poking half-heartedly at their grainy texture as I stared at the remains of the campfire. As I was about to take a bite, I had an odd feeling of discomfort and glanced sideways. Am I imagining things? I sighed. Care, I know you're there, you don't have to hide. It was only silence at first, but I heard a slight rustle and turned my head again. Seriously? You just moved to another location. I hope you weren't going to wait until I was asleep to steal my stuff.
Shut up!
I wasn't planning on doing anything like that. Care reluctantly emerged from behind one of the bigger trees. His expression looked conflicted, and I could tell he did not want to be with me again. Welcome back! Did you miss me? No. But then I realized I wouldn't be able to find the next altar without you. Well, you're out of luck. I don't know the whereabouts of any other dragon caves, nor am I carrying more apple tarts if you're hungry. There really is no reason to stick with me. You'll need to get another guide or find someone else that can help. But I want to go through the trouble of finding anyone else, at least until I get my bearings. I have no clue where to go from here. A small idea formed in my head. Wait, perhaps I could accompany Care to Oliver. If I explain the situation to Mom, maybe she'll consider writing me the night recommendation letter.
Right.
Then if you'd like, I'll accompany you to Barry. From there, we can travel to Oliver. It's a huge city. You could probably find directions to other altars there. Does that sound acceptable? He grumbled in agreement and sat down on the fallen log I was using, but near the edge to leave plenty of space between us.
Look,
My master also asked me to interact with Heavenkind more, and I've already been with you long enough. Nice to know I'm tolerable enough to be around. And your master doesn't seem that bad. He has an interest in working with Heavenkind. I guess he didn't like it when one of us pupils shared his point of view. I grinned wryly. At least he was kind enough to curse you with some clothes. I didn't think dragons normally wear clothes. Is that a spell, or are those the genuine articles? Kara tugged at his shirt as if suddenly aware of it. I think it's a spell. It won't wear off anything, right, will it? He scoffed. I assure you the spell won't wear off for my clothes. It's just that I don't want to glance back during, I don't know, the heat of battle and catch you stark naked.
shut up!
That'll never happen. Jeez, why are you interested in seeing me shirtless? If you want, I can take these off right. Please, no. I trust in the magical sustainability of those clothes, so please keep them on. Thank you. Besides, you'll be warmer that way. Is that why Heavenkind wear them? Well, something like that, yeah. I pulled off some of the bread and popped it into my mouth. Care watched briefly with interest before haughtily averting his eyes. Let me guess, you're hungry too? I don't know what Heavenkind consume, but I don't think I can eat what I normally would. As he pursed his lips, I handed him the rest of the bread. He arched his eyebrow in surprise at the offering. It's fine, I had a small breakfast and I'll be back in very soon. Without bothering to inspect it like he did with the apple tart, Care crammed the bread into his mouth. I stifled a laugh, inside of feeling dragons had no concept of chewing. Propping an elbow on my knee, I watched him with amusement. I was also feeling a little unimpressed with how dismissive he was towards me. I can glow at him, I can glower at him and tease him. I'm gonna tease him, haha. I lowered my voice to imitate him. Oh, Aurelie, I'm so eternally grateful. You're the best that Heavenkind has to offer, and I'm so glad you helped me, fed me, and led me to where I needed to go. Where would I be without your immeasurable kindness? Thank you. Care coughed violently as he tried to respond and failed, and I continued. I feigned a sweet giggle and fluttered my fingers toward him. Oh, Care, it was nothing. You're welcome. After pounding his chest and swallowing loudly, Care tried to speak up.
Shut up!
Before he could start, I stuffed the last portion of cheese into his mouth. I kept my hand there and we exchanged a meaningful look. His quizzical stare softened and I took a step back. It's nothing. You finish eating? I'm going to take a quick walk. I stalked off before he could answer. I approached the riverside, crouched down and splashed my face with water, rubbing my forehead and cheeks. Then I inhaled deeply and ruffled my hair, careful not to snag on my braid. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. A knight was supposed to be courteous, generous, kind, just, honorable, and help those in need. And here I was, struggling to maintain a calm demeanor. There was something about Kair's attitude that always got me worked up. Well, that and him showing some gratitude would be nice. Or was it wrong for me to seek it in the first place? I still have a long way to go before I'm more like Mom. How does she do it? I grabbed a flat polished rock and stood up, throwing and catching it a few times while I pondered what to do next. First things first. Kair will return to Barry with me. We'll need to stock up on supplies and figure out where the next altar is. I tossed the rock up and caught it again. Does he expect me to travel with him the whole time or until Oliver? I wonder if I'm prepared for this. Gripping the stone, I threw it into the water at an angle. It skipped a few times before disappearing completely. I bit my lip, not pleased with my 3-hop achievement. I could probably get 7 rebounds on a good day. I should get back. I wonder if he already got impatient and left. Just as I turned to leave, I heard a loud splash and immediately whirled around, unsheathing my sword. I angled the blade upward and widened my stance. Bursting from the water was a large serpent-like dragon with a translucent ridge down its back. It flapped its wings like fins, head extending beyond the shore. I grit my teeth, searching for a weak point, but I kept my distance. Tightening my grasp on my sword, I looked the dragon directly in the eye. It recoiled when it saw my weapon, withdrawing its head, but made no further movements. It didn't appear to be hostile. I slowly sheathed my sword, but kept a firm grip on its hilt. A mist formed around the dragon, and I stepped back, unsure of whether to retreat or wait. It seemed to vanish as the mist overtook it, and I squinted. Moments later, I spotted a rather hazy figure.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, you're cute! I blinked as a lithe, heaven-kind person appeared before me. He had similar ears as the water dragon, so I could safely assume they were one and the same. He had also brilliant teal-colored hair, which I had never seen before. Teal for the win. He fidgeted with his hands and gave me an apologetic look.
Are you okay?
I didn't mean to frighten you. His wide eyes disarmed me completely, and I could only wave my hands frantically to reassure him.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine. I didn't mean to threaten you with my sword. It's just sort of instinctive and it's understandable. You did know what my intentions were, and I probably looked intimidating. We both stopped and exchanged an outward smile. At first it was a giggle, but I soon started laughing, then rubbed the back of my head sheepishly. He joined in with his own gentle chuckle, and any tension we felt from a rather intense encounter dissolved instantly. What are you here for? I'm looking for someone. You should be around here, and he would have unique ears like mine, and... You mean Kair, right? Are you Kair's master? His eyes widened. Me? Oh, no. I'm actually a pupil for someone else, but I know his master well. He raised his arms and glanced at the sleeves, tugging on them before inspecting the rest of his clothes. It was then I could see his long hair tumble over his shoulder, complete with a flowing purple ribbon. You look fine. Oh, you even transformed with the braid already in place. That's cute. He grinned cheerfully, seemingly pleased with himself.
Thank you.
Heaven girl, and there you are. I have a name. Kara protested petulantly and gave the new boy a supercilious glance. Jeez. The boy balked slightly and glanced shyly away. I heard a large splash and came to check. Who are you? I'm Ilmari. We've met a few times. Kara gazed at him so intently that Ilmari squirmed uneasily. Nope, don't know you. And how did you find me anyway, Ilmara? Ilmari?
Well...
I overheard our masters talking, and Master Bedros mentioned you, so I, Kara groaned loudly. Let me guess, they sent you? Sure, sent. They sent me to supervise your assignment.
Oh, no.
So, please take me with you. Kara and I exchanged glances. Look, Ellie, Ilmari, whatever. This isn't exactly something I want to do, nor do I want more company to slow me down unless you can fly. Ilmari's face fell. You can instantly take me with the next altar. Take me to the next altar. I'm not interested. Go back and tell our masters I can handle this myself. But I sighed and stepped in, raising a hand to touch Kair's shoulder. You don't need to. Care flinched from the physical contact, and I mentally kicked myself for forgetting already. Right, now touchy. Anyway, I think Ilmari will prove useful. He did say the masters wanted this, right? They placed their trust in him for a reason. Ilmari shifted his eyes and glanced at the ground. Right.
I promise.
I promise I won't be a burden, and if I am, well, I can go back. Care grumbled and merely walked downstream, waving dismissively.
I don't care.
Do what you want. Just promise you won't lecture me or do any of that nonsense. I already get it enough. Promise. Ilmari's smile was so bright that I couldn't help but grin as well. I turned to him and offered a hand, and he tilted his head quizzically. Looks like we were traveling companions, at least for a while. This is an offer to shake hands. It is a greeting between heavenkind. Ilmari extended his hands and gave it a firm shake. His hand, actually, just one hand, but not two. But yeah. Pleased to meet you. I'm Aurelie. Pleased to meet you too.
Thank you.
And thank you for convincing Care. Thank you? Pardon? Thanks. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words. I have a feeling you and I will get along swimmingly. Swimmingly? He glanced back at the river, then chuckled. Is this heavenkind humor? Oh, something like that, but it usually elicits more groans than laughter. Come on, we should probably get going before Care decides to ditch us both. I don't have any more food to lure him back. How about food and heavenkind needs? I researched a bit, but I'm not completely familiar. Don't worry. My dad makes food for a living, so you'll learn all about it. He nodded happily. With that, we quickened our pace before Care could yell at us to hurry. I wonder how they'll react to entering a heavenkind town. That's definitely not going to be a complete mess. No, it's going to be fine. Totally. Ooh, are we already on chapter 3? Chapter 3, Barry. Dang. All the chapters. We arrived late afternoon. Barry was a small farming community nestled by the riverbank, perfectly situated between larger cities. It had at least 3 dozen houses, many with their own farmland and sprawling orchards beyond the river. Of course, it also had an inn for travelers, which was becoming more popular thanks to the improved roads.
Wow.
Ilmari seemed thrilled, gasping over every little thing while his eyes excitedly darted from one house to the next. Care simply rolled his eyes and remained withdrawn as we walked over to my family's house. I admit I was concerned. The ears weren't exactly natural, and Ilmari's hair color was striking even from a distance. There were a few people who passed and gave curious glances, but they relaxed when they saw I was accompanying the boys. You knew everyone in Barry, especially if you lived here for most of your life. When we reached my house, I motioned over to Ilmari and Care. Can you two wait here for a bit? I need to talk to my parents first. I can't just invite strangers in. Is this some sort of heavenkind formality? Yeah, something like that. That's why it's important you two don't wander off.
Of course.
Right. I mean it. I opened the door and closed it behind me, stepping into the cozy room. Mom? Dad? I hope they didn't leave to search for me. That would be partially my fault. Aura? Mom! I was embraced in a tight hug. My mother worryingly checked my face before stepping back. Where were you? Your dad got all anxious and I kept telling him he would be alright, but when night came, I'm fine. The reason why my scouting took so long was because I bumped into 2 travelers. She pursed her lips and tapped her chin. They're not amnesiac? Nope. Any mystical looking pendants on them? They have some simple jewelry, but no pendants. Dark and mysterious pasts? I'm pretty sure not. One is a spoiled brat and the other one seems like he would be the youngest of a dozen siblings. She sighed in relief. Good. I've had too many troublesome experiences with people like that. Let them into a village and the next instant it's on fire. That's my girl. Always thinking of everything. Where's Dad? I'm starving. She laughed at my carefree comment. He should be back soon. She leaned to one side, looking past me. You can let your friends in if you'd like. I turned to see Ilmari gingerly tapping the glass and putting his hands all over it in bafflement. He looked like a performing mime.
Wow.
What is this brilliant substance? You can see beyond it, but it's a barrier. Not from around here? You could say that. Once we sat down at the table, Care was content leaning against the wall being sullen. I quickly explained the situation. I left her at the punishment since I had a feeling Care would get embarrassed. Here in the first place, they'll be observing our customs and looking at some of the altars we built. That sounds wonderful. I know there's been more interaction between both races lately, but I'm out of the loop now. Mom used to be the captain of the guard for the city of Oliver, but had long since retired. She kept busy performing various protection services for travelers and merchants, patrolling Barry, and even teaching sword fighting. We were hoping to leave first thing in the morning and walk the whole way. I glanced at Karen Almari. I could swim, but it's been harder to navigate in this river recently. A lot of heaven-kind activity. None of us fly. I guess we could hire a coachman? Actually, there's a small group of merchants heading for Oliver, and they won't leave until tomorrow afternoon. I had initially offered my services, but if you think you can handle it... You mean it? I can arrange it right now. Up for the challenge? It'll be your first real job outside of Barry without me. Of course, I'll protect them to the best of my ability. She laughed at my enthusiasm and excused herself, letting the Melts know that they were welcome to stay overnight. I grinned and pumped the fist into the air.
To be a real knight!
I feel like this is my first step into real knighthood. A knighthood? Well, probably more like a mercenary. You get hired to protect people and make sure they arrive at their destination safely. That's a good thing. The way we can get to Oliver and earn a little money. However, I could ask my mom something later. Then I'd really be a knight. I could have left for Oliver at any time, but I needed something important first. I was probably grinning like an idiot, but I didn't care. When I heard the door open, I knew it was my dad and immediately jumped up. Mom was likely on her late patrols again, and probably wouldn't be back for a while. You two are probably hungry. Is there anything you'd like to eat?
Thank you.
Well, I'm open to anything. I haven't tried heaven-kind food before. We'll try our best to make sure you're something you'll like, Almari. Care? He was pondering at first and then reluctantly looked up. Yes?
Look.
That was, the one that had the apple slices on it. Oh, apple tarts, of course. Pastries are pretty much my dad's specialty. He'll make some for you. The smallest of smiles appeared on Kare's face, but it quickly vanished. At least there was something heaven-kind related that he enjoyed. Our meal was pleasant, and I was surprised that my dad even got Kare to say more than a few lines. My dad always had a way of winning people over through his cooking. Almari found our eating traditions extremely complicated, what with all of the dishes and utensils used, but keep getting drawn to the Winans again. If I ever let him loose in a stained glass church... I snorted behind my cup thinking about it. When Mom returned, I pulled her away from the group for a private chat. Is it all arranged? So I'll be able to guard the carriage tomorrow? Yes. Then, since I'm going to Oliver anyway, can you write a letter recommending me for knighthood? In Oliver, there was a special guild for knights. People trained by revered knights could be endorsed to serve under the Sun and Moon Council. If I was going to Oliver now, this would be the perfect opportunity to join them. With Mom's name, they would not refuse me. If anything, they'd usher me in with open arms. My mom sighed and rubbed her forehead, already tired of the persistent conversation. Honestly, Aura, I still don't think you're ready and mature enough to... I'm ready! Not only that, I could help help the dragon kind better. Please? She chuckled weakly, and I could tell she was still firm in her decision. Look, I'll think about it. For now, you can assist Karen and Almari just fine without the rank. I gave her a petulant look, but gave in. Alright, I'm glad you're at least considering it. Thanks, Mom. I returned to the others who were finishing up their meal. As I gathered the dishes, Dad glanced towards the stairs. Will you be spending the night here? You already done so much for us. We also perform our spacious place, so we'll be fine outside. Are you sure? Do you see us living in these things? No, not really, no. We still have some time before it gets dark. I can show you around the town if you'd like. Almari brightened immediately, while Kare sighed. I'll go.
I don't care.
Pass. Weren't you ordered to learn more about Heavenkind? You can just summarize it for me. I'm more about finding the altars. Which are locations you visit after you learn.
Let's do this.
Let sleeping dragons fly, Almari. We can have fun without Crabapple sulking along. I grabbed Almari's hand and led him outside, deciding to show off the orchards the town specialized in. As we walked down the road, we passed a farmhouse where 4 children were running around playing tag. When one spotted us, he waved, and the other 3 eagerly scampered towards us. Ora, come play. Another time chase. The younger sibling crept forward and gazed up at Almari curiously. Your ears are funny. Is that a bad thing? Not at all. They're really cute, don't you think, Heather? She giggled. They look like butterflies. The children prodded Elmari and ran around until their mother called them back. Although I did not expect that, Elmari seemed to have enjoyed himself. How sweet. They're all siblings, so they play a lot together. He blinked blankly before gasping.
Wow.
Siblings? They're all related? Yeah, it's not uncommon to have large families here, although I am an only child myself. What about you? I guess you were like the youngest of a dozen. He gave a sheepish chuckle. No, I'm an only child too. It's extremely rare for dragonkind to have siblings. I don't think I've met one that had more than 2. He tilted his head, then glanced at me hesitantly as if pondering something.
I have a question.
Then for mating season, is it... Alarm bells went off in my head, and I made a giant cross with my arms to dissuade him. Oh, no, Ben. I'm banning the subjects. As if I could accurately answer those types of questions anyways. If you don't ask, I won't ask how it works between dragons.
Sorry.
Haha, right, okay. He appeared so awkward that I couldn't help but laugh, and soon we were chuckling over a quick diversion.
Right.
Alright, let's keep going. I can show you around one of the farms. Okay. One of the barns was open. It actually belonged to an old friend of my family. I casually strolled in, pointing to various equipment. Omari gestured to a device in the corner.
I have a question.
What does that do? Oh, it's a churn. Use it to, well, churn milk or cream into butter.
What?
Cream? Butter? Here, I'll demonstrate, pretending, of course. I approached the cylindrical wooden tub and touched the stave. Basically, you plunge this up and down and it'll shake the liquid and eventually turn it into a solid. Milk, cream, and butter are all types of food. As I explained, the house owner entered, carrying 2 buckets filled to the brim with something. Hi, Bryony. I saw you showing your friend around. I thought you'd like to demonstrate the real thing. With a wry smile, she set the buckets down, and I stared at them expressionlessly. I wasn't planning on staying. I want to see it. Between Almari's persistence and my inability to decline a request from my mom's friend, I gave in. Right, okay, I'll show you. Then afterwards, you can show him how to milk cows.
Let's do this.
Fine, I'll do it. I'll do it all. I wasn't sure how, but I got roped into chores while showing Almari around. His questions were endless, and he seemed to enjoy every minute of it. Whenever I offered for him to take over, he'd shake his head and say that he'd probably mess up. I had a feeling he was just saying that. At least he held off the apple orchard when I was finally able to guide him there. It was late evening when we returned, and I was rolling my aching shoulder. Even my calluses have calluses. I haven't done farm stuff in years. I'm surprised I remembered it all. I had been more focused on my sword training and patrolling duties as of late. But did you have fun, Almari? He grinned brightly, like a child who had just left the sweet shop with a pocket full of cookies.
That is so amazing.
I did. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if I'd call it interesting, but I guess I've been here so long that it's all routine to me. If I was a knight, I could do more things. Nothing, merely thinking out loud. You sure have a lot of questions regarding Heavenkind.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. I naturally love learning about new things. In return, if you have any questions about Dragonkind, I'd be happy to answer. He stopped and Charlie fidgeted with his hands, and I could tell he was anticipating an inquiry. Ask how he knows your language. Confess you want to touch his ears. Touch the ears? Well, I do have one. It's been bugging me ever since I encountered Care, actually.
Of course.
Ask away! Can I touch your ears? He arched an eyebrow and tilted his head. That's not a real question. It totally is, and it's Dragonkind related. Can I? I know Care would refuse. I guess if you want to. I took a step forward and extended my hands, letting him see my movements since this was a rather close position. I reached up and gripped the ends of his ears lightly. The skin felt delicate between my fingers, while the other parts were like cartilage. It twitched slightly depending on where I grazed. Ah, they're adorable. They are like a fluttering butterfly. It was then Almari reached over and touched my ears, his thumbs massaging the inner region. What are you doing? My ears aren't that unique. They're to me. I've noticed Heavenkind have 2 different types of ears. Ha, yes, I'm a sun child. Mine are smooth on the outside. Moon children have pointy ears. Sun children possess the element of light, while moon children get their powers from darkness. His fingers pushed my hair back to observe the rims.
Wow.
Fascinating. And sun children and moon children get along? Everyone seems to mingle together. Yep, the only difference is what we worship. What about dragonkind? Is it the same for you? Not exactly. Dragon and Urius is respectfully aware of each other but avoid association, although there are some exceptions. Ignis live in the volcanic regions and isolate themselves, while Syraphi rarely leave the Skylands. We pretty much keep to our own kind for the most part. Now I see. There was a moment of silence before I spoke up. Well, we should probably let go before people wonder why we're standing like this. Sorry. We hastily let go, our amused smiles reassuring each other that we were at ease. I should go to bed now. We have a busy day ahead of us.
Thank you.
Good night, Aurelie. Thank you so much for everything. It's fine. I had fun too, even if I got dragged halfway across Barry to do odd chores. Once I opened the door to my house, I spotted my mum sitting at the table, holding a quill over some blank parchment. I covered my mouth to muffle a squeal. You're doing it? You're writing the letter? I bounced on my heels and launched into a tackle as I hugged my mom from behind. I peered over her shoulders.
I'm going to be a real knight!
You're actually going to do it! You're actually going to do it! I'm going to be a knight! I halted and let go, suddenly confused. Wait, what made you change your mind? My mom laughed and leaned back, flashing me a meaningful smile. Well, I did some thinking. I thought maybe you were right. You're ready. That's what I've been telling you. My smile was so wide it hurt. Thanks, Mom. Love you, and good night. I look forward to reading it in the morning. I dashed upstairs and determined to fall asleep. However, I couldn't help but toss and turn as I replayed the day's events. And not only Elmari's questions, but that I was going to become a knight once I arrived in Oliver. The task to protect the carriage could be viewed as my first duty as a knight. My first real mission. I certainly couldn't sleep right now. Ah! I hugged my pillow and rolled around, unable to stop my giddiness.
I'm going to be a real knight!
I'm going to be a professional knight. Do professional knights normally act like this? I don't actually care. I'm so happy. To achieve the title of knight, one usually had to be trained at a famous school or academy and graduate from there. Since I did not live in a big city that had such establishments, I trained solely under my mom instead, and her status and achievements were well known, which is why I needed that letter badly. If she recommended me, other captains or noblemen would probably hire me and I would serve the Sun and Moon Council, and I'd be able to see more of the Ishtira outside of Berry as a real knight. Unable to remain still, I hopped out of bed and paced restlessly. I approached the window, not sure what I was expecting. How are those two doing anyway? It's not like Care can transform back and sleep how he always does. I wonder if I can find them and check on them quickly. Snatching the blanket off my bed, I wrapped it around my shoulders like an oversized shawl, then I strapped on my belt and scabbard and walked out the door. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I will see you all next time. Take care and bye-bye.